Hi, everyone. Welcome back to another episode of the Broken Together podcast. My name is Josh,
And I'm Melody.
and we are joined today by the greatest youth pastor to ever walk the face of the earth,
Wow, he
who has
bit
been given.
towards the camera.
He bit toward the camera.
That's
Yeah,
that's a move.
that's bold.
But I did it away from the mic.
Yeah, he didn't chew into the mic, and that's what's important.
Yes.
Now, we are joined today by Pastor Sam Martinez, Big Dog Sammy Boy himself.
Hi.
Once was called a boomer on this very stage.
Yes.
Just wait, Melody.
I'm coming.
Don't you worry. I got stories.
And you know what? I'm really excited for,
That's the best part.
for all those stories.
I love story
So
time.
excited.
Story time with Sam is the best stories.
And you know what? He tells a lot of stories. I'm so excited.
Yeah.
Well, the worst part is that he's got stories on us too. So
I got stories
I-
and
I
stories.
just recently learned that you use this as examples in Bible study, and I was like, "What?"
Look,
everyone, no one is safe.
my life is an open
Apparently.
book, and you're part of my life.
Yeah, it's true. I didn't know I was that
I'm
prominent.
fairly certain they've mostly been good.
I hope so.
You haven't told him how you slammed me into a cabinet for bizcochos?
Bro,
How you just viciously.
look, if we could, I would recreate it right now. So I could show it was like a shove.
It
Not
was-
even a shove. I
Oh,
shouldn't
he
say
said
shove.
it. There it
I
is.
shouldn't
We
say
got
shove.
him. He said
It
shove.
was more like I was like praying for you as you went by. I was like, Lord,
Do not lay hands on any man suddenly.
it's like, Lord, just don't let him hurt himself too hard, but teach him not to go for my bizcocho.
And you know what though? Timothy was a part of that.
Well,
He
wh-
was
Tim is the
Tim.
bizcocho man.
Yeah, and
And now he's the sound man.
and now you've got him lying for you.
Lying.
Yeah,
No,
But-
Timothy doesn't lie.
yeah.
The third time that we've mentioned it, or the third time?
Oh, does the bizcocho story come up a lot?
Oh no, he
Uh,
said
Or his
that was
name?
his third time
In the youth.
in the youth room. Was it?
That was his third
was
time
that
in the
night?
room, watching
Hey.
violence unfold in front of his eyes.
Well, I'm just proud of us that it took 3 weeks
There
or
you
3
go,
times
there you go,
because
I
yeah,
was
lot of
I was
kids, it's their
I was a
first.
young happy youth leader, and I was betrayed that night.
I think that's when I started liking you more because some of the joy went out, and I was like, oh, okay, now it's getting real.
That's
Yeah,
funny.
yeah.
I do want to bring that up though, but we'll bring it up later. How you didn't like us at the beginning. But
I
we'll-
was wondering at what point that was going. I didn't
Oh,
know if we were
that's
going to
coming.
start with that
No,
or if
no,
it was going to come in later. Yeah,
No. First, we gotta talk about your food choice today because that's where we start
yeah.
with every
Mhm.
meal. You chose the best of all burger places,
Okay, calm down.
the Grail of Grails,
Yeah.
Well,
Whataburger itself.
Yeah.
Mhm.
I did this for you.
Yeah.
I was trying to think, and I was like, well, I actually don't know. Generally, like most things in my life, I just kind of show up somewhere, and that's what I eat.
That's true.
Mm.
Yeah.
So when you're like, oh, pick something, I was like, dude, I don't even know. What do I eat?
Mm-hmm.
So I said, you wore your Whataburger shirt yesterday.
That's right. Yeah.
Yeah.
'cause I was like, he was probably carrying his cup or something.
Well, he's always carrying his
Yeah.
cup.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But yeah.
I
we
saw
were-
the shirt, and I was like, hey, you know what? I'll toss him one.
Yeah.
It's a great change after all the flavorless chicken we've had on this show. So I'll
You
take it.
Still mention it. Like, we're eating something else, man.
And this is what we should have been eating. I shouldn't be giving these kids options. Is what I
Yeah.
learned.
Whataburger should be the official sponsor of this podcast.
Whataburger.
Yeah.
Yeah, our youth group, the podcast, yeah, just all of it. It needs to be.
Whataburger.
Yeah.
I will sponsor Whataburger if anyone happens to hear. it.
You'll sponsor water.
Sorry, other way around.
I think you already are,
Yeah.
but now we want to get you.
I'm keeping
sponsored
your
by this.
locations
Yeah,
open,
yeah.
please.
That's-
Throw me a bone.
I was
Yeah.
like, wait a minute, what?
Yeah, no, I saw some of the food choices. And
Yeah.
I was a little disappointed. Can I talk bad about?
Absolutely.
Okay, I hate Canes.
Oh.
Like, hey, I cleared it first.
No, I know.
Absolutely. Tim is like,
Timothy is also excited. I like hate.
Oh, no.
no, she's the only one.
But you know
Well,
what?
no.
I don't like the sauce. and
Oh, you don't even like
I
the
don't
see
like the
that
sauce.
that eliminates the entire
Yeah,
restaurant
and
because that's
then
all it
That's
sits
true.
on.
Their chicken is very bland,
Yeah,
and so
because it relies on the sauce.
I prefer Chick-fil-A or Popeyes.
See,
Popeyes?
Popeyes, that's where it's at.
Yeah.
Popeyes is good as
Yeah.
well. But we've had Canes twice in our
I
In
got
our run.
I have to be honest. Like he was like, so the I choose or whatever, and he's like, yeah, just no canes, please.
Yeah.
And I was like, hey, dude, don't even worry. That's not even an option.
Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah. Because I think another one we've had twice is Wingstop.
Yeah, I know.
But
Well,
the
my
ones that-
daughter
Yes.
was one.
But at least with Wingstop, I can have different flavors
Of
like
chicken.
as I go. Yeah, like I can get spicy one day. I can get barbecue another day. I can get
Yeah.
boneless. There's a
Yeah.
lot of variety. Canes does
Yeah.
not do that for you.
No.
I like it. I don't know.
And I think it was like our, I don't even know what I call her. You know, my protege
Yes.
was one of your wings, right?
Yes.
And then my
And then your
daughter
actual
was
daughter.
the So
Your partner in crime.
well, I guess they're both partners in crime.
Yeah.
True.
Yeah, one's just a little more advanced than the
Mhm.
other one.
Yeah.
But we're working on Layla. Yeah, she's coming along nicely.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh my god.
Oh, we love Layla. So yeah, we're enjoying the greatest burgers there was,
Okay.
there ever will be.
But he won't agree with you on that one. I have to point
Oh,
out.
I know he's a traitor. He's got a In-N-Out
Yes.
shirt under that button up.
I do.
I told him to bust it out, but he
No,
didn't want to
that's
do
inappropriate. We can't pass that on YouTube.
I don't want to have that disclaimer on.
Oh, that'd be the short.
Yeah.
You just, what?
that. Say that again. Oh, he would blur you out. So
Oh, we'd give you a blur.
Oh yeah. Just show the logo.
just the logo.
Yeah. It would be for Pastor Mike.
Yeah, yeah,
Probably never will see this.
No,
Oh.
probably not.
I mean, I even wear my Dickie shirt for Pastor BJ, but
Nice.
There you go.
maybe I'll just send him.
Dixon.
Dude, oh yeah, what is it? I don't even know what I'm wearing.
But you found it in your
My
closet,
dad
I'd hope.
did, yeah, I know.
It's
Sean got
very
it for me.
nice. It's very nice.
It's got all my favorite colors: America,
There you
red,
go.
white, and blue.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So then,
But yeah,
Um,
he doesn't like. I mean, not that he doesn't like Whataburger, but
I mean, if there was an In-N-Out here, we'd be eating In-N-Out.
yeah, I know.
that makes sense.
I know. Go
So-
back to California, you traitor.
Oh my
You
god.
wear those colors.
Yeah,
Alright.
I don't think I could wear these in California.
No,
It's true.
unless you're at BJ's church.
Aw,
One day,
one day.
bring me out, BJ.
I'm there. I'll be there. But yeah. So we wanted to do a little icebreaker, as if we really needed any ice breaking. As
It's clearly been very stiff so far.
yeah, as well acquainted as we really are already.
It's true. This is
but
like a
we-
normal.
We wanted to do our favorite segment, which is some Gen Z lingo. We know you love your Gen Z
You
lingo.
know what? And we're done.
And I'm gonna take my
See you.
food.
Thank you guys for lunch, and I'm out.
Yeah, you don't want to. You don't want to define Gen Z lingo for us.
He
Let's see.
loves Gen Z.
Oh,
lingo.
yeah.
It's just
You're my favorite.
yeah. It's his
You
favorite.
love the butchering of the English language, don't you?
And so we usually do that.
Uh-huh.
We're not gonna do that with
No,
you
yeah,
No,
today. We
no,
just-
we're just kidding. I just wanted to.
You just wanted to see if you can match my shirt, like
Yeah,
my
yeah.
face.
Yeah, I just wanted to see if you'd get real mad.
Yeah.
No, I want you to tell us your favorite Bible teachers right now, which I mean I'm aware of because
You've
talked
been-
about
Do
it.
you want their actual names and my name?
No, I'd like their titles that you have given them. I'd
Okay.
like those ones.
So I really like Big Dog Gary.
Big Dog
Gary
Gary.
Hamrick out
Gary
of Cornerstone,
Hamrick, yeah,
Calvary
yeah.
Chapel.
Very good.
Papa Rawl
Oh.
Reese.
Papa Roll.
Yeah.
I don't
he's-
know. I don't know
yes.
if that's okay to say because Chuck was.
But see, like, so Chuck is like Papa Chuck, but like for me,
Oh, I see.
like
yeah,
I
yeah.
grew up with more listening to Rawl, so
Rawl.
he's like Papa Rawl to me. Like
And then what
he's-
about Ryan?
and then
what would Ryan be? to you?
Ryan?
It's like a cousin.
Yeah, like he's
Your
like
weird,
my
weird cousin Ryan.
yeah, he's the well, and maybe not even weird because I'm like
He's cool.
the idea, well, my idea or the thought of hey, let's do a podcast was because I listened to what is it, whatever they
Yeah,
call
the
his
Ryan
podcast.
Reese show.
Yeah,
Yeah.
and I was like, oh, that's super cool. I listened to him and BJ.
he went on.
Yeah, I'll have to
Oh
send it to
my
you.
God.
BJ actually sent it to me.
That's so cool.
And normally you listen to teachings and you find yourself like speeding them up. I was trying to figure out how to slow it down. Because BJ and Ryan are like machine guns.
Oh well, that's yeah.
For sure.
They're the two like ADHD Calvary pastors
Yeah, and,
in one room. Yeah.
and that's why we love BJ, and I'm sure
Yeah.
we would love Ryan
Oh yeah.
if we ever got the opportunity.
Yeah.
So,
Um.
but so there's there's Big Dog Gary,
No, yeah, you've already
there's
committed.
Papa Rawl,
Mm-hmm.
and then Saint John. And I have to tell you,
That's the one I didn't want you to say.
so let me explain why. So in one of the teachings he was giving, he was talking about how Paul writes to all the saints, and he went down this like whole thing about, oh yeah, we're not saints and all this stuff, and he's like, well, but we are all saints. As Christians, we're saints. And he's like, and then he himself was like, I mean, Saint John. It has like this ring to it, and I can't remember which teacher. I think it was like at a men's conference or something. And so I was like, I'm gonna take that and run with it. Probably never see this guy in my life. So
No.
yeah, like Saint John.
John.
That works. St. John.
But
Randall.
John Randall.
John Randall, and he's Calvary South OC.
Nice.
And so I really like those guys right now.
You do need to come up with a name for or a title for BJ. 'Cause you
I
just
know
call him
BJ is just like,
Well, that is
he's BJ. Like
Yeah.
because like even Pastor BJ. It's
yeah,
like,
it doesn't sound like he is Pastor BJ,
Mhm.
but he's BJ, man. Like
Yeah, it's
BJ is just
true.
awesome. Like
Mhm.
he's like Prince, like
it's just Prince.
yeah, it's just BJ.
Oh, I see.
Yeah.
Yeah, I got it. I
It's
got it.
just it's not BJ Heather. It's,
Yeah, no, it's just BJ.
it's just BJ.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That makes sense.
Because yeah, I know you've been going back and like listening to teachings and even well for a while you were going back through like Chuck's, but
Yeah. No, and I still I'll listen to Chuck every once in a while. Especially on leadership stuff.
yeah.
But I really, if there's one that I could just sit and listen to all day long, just go through the Bible like almost like a Netflix episode, it would be Gary Hamrick.
Mm.
Oh,
Like,
yeah.
He's
Mhm.
just it's short, it's sweet, and it's powerful. Like, and it's like I was telling you earlier, I feel so dumb sometimes because I'm like watching it and I'm listening to his teaching and I'm like, oh man, I wonder what the next episode is. And I'm like, wait a minute. It's the Bible. I know this. But it like he draws you in. I'm like, oh man, I wonder what he's gonna say about this next chapter. So
That's really cool.
so I've caught myself sometimes. It's not. I guess it's not a bad thing, but I'll listen to 3 or 4 in a row, and I'm like, oh man, this was really good.
Nice.
No,
For-
did you get tired of the Jesus is real?
Yeah, no, I can't. For
I don't think I can hit that note, but
for a variety of reasons, I was like, no,
my boy Daniel Fusco.
no, the dreads and some other things
The
that
Birkenstocks.
the
Birkenstocks.
there's
That's funny.
That was the best conference ever. Just rolled up in the Birkenstocks.
Yeah.
like a robe.
the hippie pastor.
That's my guy.
Yeah.
But
Jesus is real.
No, Jesus is real.
No, the intro song though,
Yeah,
I think is
that's-
fantastic.
yeah, if nothing else, that intro song.
I mean, you guys could probably get one of the boys to do that. You could probably get Shawn Michael if he's still around to sing that, and
I'm all looking for him.
and he could probably hit. Or you know what would be even better if you got Oscar.
Oh yeah, he could do that.
Yeah.
I don't think. don't
I,
think he
I would
could do
love. I would
any of
love
that.
to hear Oscar try and hit those notes.
Oh, he would try.
Yeah.
He would try.
That's too funny.
But oh man,
All right. Well, now I'm gonna bring it up because we did all the official stuff already. So Sam, we've been working with you for a long time now.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I
think
can't
it's-
even think of how long it's been.
I think
so
it's been
we left our
8
last church
years.
in 2015.
Mhm,
Or was it 14?
15.
15, right? So then we landed here a few months later. So yeah, I mean,
Has it been that long?
No, well, there was some back and forth on our end.
Oh, okay.
well, yeah. So we were here
Well,
for a
yeah,
while.
I couldn't leave.
Yeah, no.
I mean, you could have.
So
We were here for a little while, and then we helped to start up church, and then we came back.
Mhm.
yeah. So at that point is when we started working with you.
Okay. Okay.
Yeah. And
When you discovered the ghost.
and
The
you know,
ghost of Calvary
yeah, we
Chapel.
discovered the ghost.
Mm.
I understand, like. Now knowing that you didn't like us before, I understand why you were hiding. I
Yeah.
completely understand.
So
Yeah, we'll let you clarify that you didn't like us.
Yeah, go ahead. No, just kidding. No, no, no. I will say I didn't learn this until like way later.
Yeah, I think it was during a teaching I mentioned,
Yes,
and you
and I
guys were
was
like,
like,
"What?"
Yep. Hmm.
yeah, yeah, yeah.
I was like, "I thought this was common knowledge."
No, no, no. We jumped in.
We loved you, man. We were like, yeah, this guy's great.
We were
He likes
100%.
us. We like him.
But then we find that out. I was like, oh, see, now things are starting to
That's
click.
why he hid from us every time we showed up at church.
That's why all the lights were always off.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. So go ahead.
And it was just this because and most everybody that watches these podcasts or has ever been around you two knows you guys are generally just very bubbly people, even you. And you're just excited to be here most times.
Yeah, yeah,
And
yeah.
I was like, nobody is this happy.
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
Like,
Mhm.
and as I've come to find out, I have been grumpy for well, maybe since birth. Like I have like, that playful streak in me.
Yeah.
That's what we'll call it.
Yeah. Or what is it? The sass master?
Yeah,
Yes.
yeah, yeah.
Oh, I didn't think we were to bring that up.
Yeah. No, it's all coming out.
That's funny. Yeah.
But I also like there are times where I'm just like I was telling you earlier, I'm tired. And if I'm
Mhm.
tired, it's either gonna be like I'm gonna be ridiculous or I'm grumpy.
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
And when people are overly happy and I'm tired,
Yeah.
it pushes the needle to grumpy.
I definitely, yeah. But we didn't see any of that.
No, you
I
did it
for
very well.
sure-
We just thought you were like, oh, yeah, you
I
just.
for sure was like, oh, okay, yeah.
Yeah.
like-
Well, see, it's because I'd hear you guys coming and I'd hear all the joy, and so I close my door and
yeah,
I'd be
yeah,
like,
yeah.
okay, and then like I'd come out and I was like, okay, I can deal.
Yeah,
you
yeah,
know.
yeah.
Gotta take a breath.
But what was cool is that it showed me that I needed to get back to that place of joy.
Mm.
Because I think I had kind of gotten into this like almost tired, frustrated. Um, I think by the time you guys came in, we had gone through a lot of turmoil in the
Oh, I
youth,
see.
and had gone through some issues with leaders, and
Mm.
I had gone through some things, and so I was kind of like, I'm just I don't know.
And Timothy said Sam Scrooge.
Yeah, yeah. Thanks,
Just-
Tim.
Just wanting to throw that
Yeah.
in.
I don't know why he doesn't just have a mic so he can just
I know.
interject every once in a while. But you guys coming in kind of brought that joy back. Like it was like this is where I should be. I should be happy to be here. I should be happy to serve the Lord. Like yeah, things are gonna go wrong. There's gonna be issues with people. That's just part of ministry.
Yeah.
But it's still a privilege to be here. And so you guys taught me a lot of that and
Aw.
brought that back into my life.
And that day, the Grinch's heart grew 3
I
times
was
its
gonna say,
size.
micro doses.
Yeah,
but-
yeah. Well, Denise kept talking about how she wanted to get me, how Tony Stark has that little
Oh,
like
yeah.
thing.
He does have a heart.
Yeah, and it's like proof
Proof
that
that-
Tony has a heart,
Wow.
has
Tony,
a start.
Tony
yeah.
has a start.
Yeah, yeah, he has a Stark. She's like, we need to get that for your office
Aw.
because that was the common theme around that. Well, still to this day, they're like, Sam's dead inside.
No, oh my gosh.
Alive in Christ.
Yeah, alive in Christ, dead emotionally.
No way.
But so yeah, how long was your total time in the youth then? Even I guess before us, because we were trying to figure it out.
I've thought about it too. Like I've been trying to do the math, but as you know, I struggle with knowing how old I am.
Sure, yeah,
I mean, it's hard for someone of your age, you know.
Yeah, where
Numbers start to slip. And,
things get fuzzy. It's in the time frame of like between like 18 and 20 years.
Yeah.
I spent in youth, and I was like junior high, high school. There's a period of time I was doing junior high, high school, and college.
yeah.
Oh yeah.
Um,
I was like,
remember those
no
days.
yeah,
way. No,
yeah. No,
thanks,
yeah,
Sam,
dude.
for that.
You're like, wow, that's crazy.
And then we did 2 services, so you were teaching like
Yeah.
quads on a regular basis.
Yeah. Because we would do 2 Sundays, a Wednesday. Every other week, we would do Fridays with the youth. And then if we weren't doing Fridays with the youth, we were doing Fridays with the college.
Yeah.
Um,
I
that was fun, actually. I enjoyed that.
I hope so.
It was
'Cause
nonstop.
It was nonstop. Yeah. For
Yeah,
sure.
I did. It definitely put a strain on my family.
Mm.
Um, because for those of you guys that don't know, my wife's a respiratory therapist, and so her schedule is kind of weird
Yeah.
as it is. And so when I was real busy doing all that stuff, there were weeks that we just really just kind of just passed by each other.
Mm.
And
Yeah.
so that was it was difficult in that sense, but God did a lot of cool stuff in our marriage at that time also. And out of that time, I was thinking about the other day, we've got an office staff member for the school that came out of that,
Yeah.
Tabitha. We got you guys that are now the youth pastor and his wife.
Mhm.
Oh, we got Oscar and Aileen, who
Yeah.
Oscar's the college ministry and technology pastor, and Mia, who's a worship leader. Like, so there's a lot of fruit that came
Mhm.
out of that, and it was fun. We had a good time. I mean,
Yeah.
Oh,
I
yeah.
had a good time.
The only thing I will say is that that was the Little Caesars
Oh gosh,
time in our
We
lives.
kept that Little Caesars alive.
And so that was the only thing I was like, oh man, I was after that point in time, Little Caesar like
Because it was
couldn't
like 2 years
be
straight
over.
of Little Caesars.
Yeah.
It was like
Yeah.
Friday night funds,
Mhm.
college study,
That was it.
and
Every
then
Friday night we had pizza.
yeah, every Friday night, and it was Little Caesars, and it was
You did try to
Well,
switch it up with wings.
I did, but you guys didn't even have to have it when I would go do Youth for Christ.
and then yeah, and then that's what I was gonna say. I knew I had it. I would have it with you when I
Youth
would
for
go.
Christ, yeah.
That's true.
So I got to the point that the manager of the Little Caesars over here by the church knew me.
No.
And if I didn't come for a while,
He was like,
he would be
"Hey."
like, when I came back, he'd be like, "Hey, are you guys okay?"
Do you guys
So,
need pizza?
yeah, it was
That's too
it
funny.
it was interesting. But yeah, Little Caesars at that time, it wasn't bad, but yeah, it definitely got old.
Yeah.
Well, and that's when it was like at its cheapest too. That's back when it was literally the $5,
Yeah.
like hot and ready. Now it's like 6, almost 7, and it's like, well, I'm not gonna pay $7 for this.
Yeah. Yeah, you can go get something from like Speedies or
That's
Great
it.
American, I've heard, is pretty good.
Great American Steakhouse.
Oh no, there's a Great American Pizza.
What?
It's right next to El Beso.
Oh,
Yeah.
what pizza are you getting from the steak burger place?
Yeah,
bro?
yeah,
What are
yeah.
you talking?
No, don't blow my cover, man. It's
you-
just what I tell Sean.
What do you know? Get
He's like, what's this Great American? Oh, it's a pizza place.
It's a pizza place. Yeah.
God, yeah. It wasn't you taking lunches.
Yeah, no, not at all. Never.
No.
Imagine. Oh man, yeah, that's awesome. Well, I mean, you know, we've we've learned a lot from you. We've really appreciated, you know, coming up through the youth ministry here at a church that supports its youth ministry, which is like, as we've gone through the years, you know, one of the things that we've had to learn is like we're like we have support
Yeah.
from the front staff and pastors and things. It's not just like, you know, you keep the monkeys in that cage over there, and maybe every now and again we'll let you let them out, and
Yeah.
then and then that's, you know, because when we were with Greg, man, it was it was rough. I mean, we had to. I mean, we do fundraising now, but like back then it was like we had to do fundraising if we wanted to do anything, and then everything else after that was like out of Greg's pocket, and it was a different experience. So when we got here and we were like just wanting to be part of things, but we didn't know how to like, can we do like more things, and then
It was very much like we thought we had to do everything ourselves.
Mhm.
And I'm realizing in like hindsight, I was like, oh, we didn't really have to do that much effort. It's
Yeah.
just we were trained up that way.
Yeah.
And so that's all we knew.
mhm.
But when we came here, it was like, oh yeah, we can all help with that. And it was like, oh, I didn't know that. You know what I mean? It was like, oh my gosh. Like
Yeah.
I thought it was just up to him and I sometimes.
No, and that's been a blessing because I've heard stories from other youth pastors where they're
Yeah.
like, you know, they're battling for every little penny that they get, you know, any sort of attention,
Yeah.
all that, and you know, the youth has always been a priority here. You know, it's always been invested. I think that starts with Pastor Charlie.
Oh,
You know,
yeah.
like
Oh, yeah.
Absolutely.
he literally loves everybody that walks through these doors. You know, he's invested in them. And so he would constantly come and ask me how things were going in the youth, and there would be Saturday nights or Saturday mornings where we would be doing skit practice or worship practice, and he would be here studying, and he would take a break to come in and listen or talk to the kids or just see how things were going.
That's so
And
cool.
yeah, it was cool. It scared the kids sometimes, but
Helped them stay in line.
yeah,
Yeah.
but it was really cool. And then there would be times they'd be walking through the foyer, like on a Sunday or whatever after church, and my dad or Charlie or Sean or one of the other pastors would greet them by name, and they'd come back and they'd be like, "Hey, the pastors know who I am." Like, yeah,
Mhm.
they know more than you think, man.
Yeah,
They care about you,
Mm.
and that is, um, unfortunately, not the way it is at every church, but it is here.
Yeah.
Yeah, and it's been a blessing to us, and getting to see like all, yeah, like you were saying, all the fruit that's come out of each like graduating class, and like
Yeah.
now we're into our second year running it just ourselves. Well, not just ourselves, right? But like
Mhm.
without you in the room.
In the big boy chair.
Yeah. No, I'm not the funkle anymore.
The driver's seat, yeah, for sure.
I have to be the grumpy dad,
Yeah.
but I'm not good at it at all. I'm not a grumpy dad.
You're getting better at it.
I don't know if that was a compliment or if it was like
Mm.
she's taking some shots here.
I think I might have to scoot that chair this way. I don't know.
You know, well, I do marital counseling now.
Yeah,
So
Oh,
yeah.
good.
you
Yeah.
know, once the cameras are off, I got you guys covered.
Yeah, look at
Oh,
that. And that
record
Yeah,
that
yeah.
as well. Just
before
kidding.
it was
to go back.
before it was when we were engaged and just together, and now it's now into our marriage counseling. Look
Yeah.
at that. We never leave your side. It's just
Well, hey, I appreciate it because you keep the joy in my life, you know, and that's uh Oscar is, Oscar's I used to call him my donkey.
I remember.
Um,
Yeah.
the talking
That's
donkey.
not.
Yeah.
That's also not very complimentary.
Yeah, at the
Complimentary.
time it wasn't. At the time I was like, dude, you ask so many questions. But I've grown to love him, and I've grown to love his questions because
Good.
they make me think. And but yeah, I texted him that the other day. I was like, I saw a clip of Shrek or something, and I was like, oh my gosh, you're my donkey.
Yeah.
Oh man, that's yeah. I do. I remember those when we were all just here till midnight
Yeah.
yapping about nothing, or well, not about nothing, but
Yeah, well,
all,
about life.
yeah,
and
just everything, stuff about the kids, like praying for them, and then unloading our own stuff as we're
yeah,
trying to lead them, and then like, hey Sam, like we're still doing these things, like
Yeah.
we're still
maybe
here.
you should stop.
Yeah. That's what he made it sound like, but I don't think it was that.
Well, not as much that. I mean, we were having a good time. But we would be last ones out
Yeah,
every time we got together.
yeah,
It was a lot of time just spent sharing life and stuff. And so it's been a blessing to now be on this end of it, where I was like, oh man, this guy hated me. These
Never
monkeys.
gonna let you down.
Yeah, I
Never
know.
gonna let that down for you.
No, I think that's gonna be like we get to heaven. Remember how you didn't like us? Now we're together for eternity.
Yeah.
And then like, man, this guy was always just grumpy for nothing. And then now I'm in the driver's seat, and it's like, oh, I understand. I know
Yeah,
why.
yeah. It
I
makes
get it.
sense now.
No,
huh?
I get it. I get it. Yeah. It comes with the territory.
Mhm.
I'm praying for my Josh and Melody to
Yeah.
come and make sure to keep me.
Well, Andrew and Tanya are pretty joyful people,
Yeah.
but just also enjoy your hair while you have it.
Yeah.
I used to have more hair.
You still have hair.
It's going.
I keep being told that I'm the only pastor on staff that has this full head of hair, and I'm the only one that consistently is wearing hats all the time.
Oh yeah. Aileen made that.
Yeah. Is Oscar already losing it?
Yeah.
mean,
Oh, dang.
Don't want to go into specifics, but yeah. Mhm.
Oscar Moreno?
Look him up, guys.
Yeah.
The newest
Yeah,
ordained pastor
yeah.
at Calvary Chapel El Paso
He can't be losing his hair already.
at the ripe age of 29.
Oh my goodness. You guys are gonna be 30 this year?
Dude, we're gonna be 30.
Well,
Well, no. Sorry, I'm gonna be 29. He's gonna be 29 this year.
Okay.
Next
So next year,
though.
the dirty 30. Yeah.
30. Man. Yeah, that's when the grumpiness really kicks in.
Oh, is that
It's that old. You start getting to that older. You start
Gen
wanting
Z
to.
lingo starts
yeah.
making me mad?
You want to sit on the porch and guard your trash cans. Yeah.
I do have to say the lingo is evolving so rapidly that I'm like, what does that mean? And then the kids have to explain it to me. And it's for my knowledge, so I know what they're saying.
Yeah,
But it's some of it, it's like, what in the world?
yeah.
Yeah.
What's crazy is that in like talking about 18, 20 years, the lingo has changed every couple of years. Like
Mhm.
I remember going to Chick-fil-A one Wednesday night with a couple of kids. Melissa and I are there, and Chick-fil-A was just busy because it's Chick-fil-A. And so we're there, and they're like, "Oh man, Chick-fil-A is lit," and I was like, "Well, yeah, it's nice.
The lights are
Like,
on, yeah.
There's
like
lights. I
if they
don't know.
didn't, yeah." And that was literally my response. Like, if the lights weren't on, like we wouldn't be here. What do you mean? And they're like, "No, you're so old, you're so dumb," and they're like crying in the back, laughing, and I'm like,
He doesn't know what lit means.
"Yeah." And I was like, "You don't know what lit
Yeah,
means."
yeah.
And then they had to explain that it was like packed. It was like the thing or whatever. And it's like,
Poppin'. No, just
yeah.
kidding.
Yeah, I was gonna say, what is it now?
No, I don't know what it is. I think
I think why don't I have heard them say things like it slaps?
Oh.
Yeah, that slaps.
Yeah.
That's not even newest stuff yet. We're still. We used to say. I think I used to say slaps.
I don't know. I remember using boss a lot when I was.
Oh,
in
yeah, that's
school.
boss.
Boss, yeah.
See,
Beast mode.
beast mode I did.
Beast
Yeah.
Beast mode I knew that one. But yeah, there's a lot of them that now like they say things like I'm just like, that's not like, one of them came up to me one time and was like, "Man, she ate." And I was like,
Yeah.
I hope. I hope
should
we
all
all
be.
eat. Like
We
we
should
should
all
all
be
be eating.
Yeah.
And they're like, "Oh," like it was another one. "Oh, you don't know it." But and so now some of them come up to me and they say these things just because they know
They know it.
that
Yeah,
it's
it
gonna
makes
get a
sense.
reaction.
Yeah, the skibbity and
Uh,
all those. Yeah.
Ohio.
Skibbity
I
Ohio.
think there's like a new. I don't think.
Oh, there's got to be new stuff. I mean,
because when we say it in the room, trying to be funny, they're like,
Yeah.
"Oh," they roll their eyes.
Yeah,
at
I
us.
know.
Yeah. So yeah, I'm telling you, it changes,
It
and all of a
does.
sudden it's like there's like big back. Like
Oh,
I was
yeah,
like,
yeah.
back in my day, you wanted a big back because that
Oh.
meant you'd been lifting and
Oh.
Looking like Arnold.
Yeah, you've got a big back. Like, oh, cool, man. Now apparently it means that
Big back, big
you're
back.
chubby.
Yeah.
I'm like, I don't know what to say. Like maybe they just don't gym like we used to. in the
No.
gym. I say we, like other people.
Yeah, you
used
and
to
Arnold,
in the
right?
gym.
Back in the prime
Yeah,
days.
yeah. You guys didn't know me back then. Nobody knew it. I did it in secret.
Yeah.
We'll say one of our youth. I don't know if I should say Annika. She was defending McDonald's yesterday, and so I'm thinking like, yeah, she definitely does. if she probably does gym, but she probably doesn't eat. Very
Yeah,
well.
no. But see, that's the cool thing about being like 16, 15.
Right.
And she
For
does like
sure.
every sport known to man.
Mhm.
So she could probably eat this table, like all the
And be
food
fine.
here,
And the table.
yeah, and just be like, I'm gonna probably not finish my fries and have gained like 2 or 3 pounds.
Yeah.
So it's a different in age and activity level.
For sure.
Yeah. Well, so while we're as we're talking about youth and stuff,
And the fact that he hated us.
and the fact that you hate it,
Just
like
kidding.
we're not gonna let you live that one down, and then you smashing me into the cabinets
Smashing.
over cookies.
Man,
Bizcochos.
every year, like it becomes like
More
at some
dramatic,
point,
huh?
at some point it's gonna be like, yeah, and I went through the wall.
Basically sent me through the wall.
That's the reason we don't have cabinets.
Yeah. I impacted the cabinet so hard that it broke all the wood.
Well, that was during my muscular big back days.
That's when you had a big
yeah,
back.
yeah.
That's when you had a big-
Yeah, see?
And then it's gonna be like a WWE.
Yeah.
Mhm.
Well, so yeah, what are some of the things that you think that you've learned from the youth and all those years in youth ministry that are now kind of translating?
Not some, all of it. No, just kidding.
Well, we don't have like 5 hours to do this, so
Well, you told me You have so many stories.
You do.
I think, and I share this with, and I think I shared this with you guys when you came in. I think one of the biggest lessons I've learned is just, the importance of authenticity. That
Yeah.
it's so easy to come into church and be in a position of leadership and feel like you have to present this perfect image. That if there's a crack or a chink in the armor somewhere, that nobody's gonna want to listen to you, nobody's gonna want to hear you, and all that stuff. And in reality, especially with the youth, and what I'm finding out is even with the adults, is that when you present that perfect image is when people don't want to talk to you because they know it's fake.
Mm.
Because none of us have it all together. None of us have it figured out all the time. And so when you're able to go into the room, and there are times, especially early on, I had some really cool leaders that, were in there, obviously you guys. But
Yeah, we were the cool leaders.
when I got started, also, Mr. and Mrs. Cruz, who still come here,
Yeah.
and there were times they would come up and they'd be like, "Hey guys, can you just pray for the leaders?" And they would have the room come and lay hands on the leaders,
Wow.
and the kids really appreciated that opportunity, where it wasn't just us telling them, "Hey, we're here if you need to pray," but where they got to pray for us, where they got to feel like they were ministering to us, and it created this bond with those kids where we were going through life together. Obviously, different stages, different levels of wisdom, all that stuff, but we were walking with them
Yeah.
instead of kind of driving them. And that's something that I really think is important in life and in ministry, is just to be real. Like, if you
Yeah.
come in here and you're struggling and you're broken and you're on your last legs. Hey, that's okay. That's why we come to church.
Yeah,
That's what the
exactly.
body's for. Like, hey, come on in and let's talk. Let's cry together. Let's pick up the pieces. I mean, this podcast is the Broken Together podcast,
Yeah.
which I still feel like you stole from me, but whatever.
No.
Wow, and then he's gonna say we stole it after we asked him like
Oh yeah, we
if we
did
could
ask
use
you.
like
That's
we
right.
hey like you remember when we
That was
talked about
Okay,
this
maybe I
like
shouldn't say stole,
no
but
look at him back
but
up.
but that it was something that we, in one of our many
Yeah.
conversations, that we talked about. But yeah, like, that's the idea. Like what we used to say, that we're the island of misfit toys.
Yeah.
That there's something broken with each of us, and God's putting us back together. And
Yeah.
again, we're at different stages, and so that was a big one. And just being available, because one of the things that you find out, and you guys know this, is life happens at all hours of the day.
It really does.
Yep.
And so ministry is not a Sunday morning, Wednesday night thing.
No, pastors don't just work on Sunday
Yeah,
and
right.
Wednesdays.
It's a sweet gig. You only work 2 days a week for like 2 hours.
Yeah.
No, yeah, you're constantly on call. And that was something I learned. If I can tell a story, um,
You can.
just
You're always allowed to tell
Yeah.
stories.
just like maybe like a month into taking over the junior high. My friend Eric and I, we were at a cookout with a bunch of the guys. It was like a Sunday, and we got a text. Hey, can you? It was from one of the junior high kids. Hey, can you come to my house? My friend is thinking of committing suicide.
Oh man.
And I mean, I was like maybe all of 22 years old. Been in ministry for maybe a month. Eric was 21. We were kids, and we looked at each other like we were in line to get burgers, and we were like, you know what, guys, we got to go.
Yeah.
And he and I jumped in his truck and we drove over to this house, and we met with this kid and her friends for probably an hour or two. And we talked and we prayed. And I honestly can't remember the whole conversation, but I remember at the end, like, if she didn't give her life to the Lord that night, she was willing to start coming to church. She had hope. And we left. And when we got there, the sun was up. When we left, the sun had gone down, and we looked at each other and we were just like giddy, because God had done something there, and
Right.
it was totally unplanned. It was nothing, like, no, it was nothing that we did. It was just God opened the door, and we were able to walk through it. And that's something that the youth has taught me also, is like, you always have a plan, but you always leave room for the Holy Spirit,
Yeah.
because you got to be flexible. because
Yeah.
these kids, I mean, like sitting here in the sanctuary, like I remember doing a Friday night fun, and we had all these games, and kids were in the middle of it having all this fun, and one girl just sat down and started screaming and had a panic attack. Again,
Yeah.
this was more recent. This was within the last 5 or 6 years, so I was older, but still, like, you're not really prepared for those moments.
Mhm.
No.
And that was the beauty of having you guys at that time and having been with you for a while. So I could, hey, go take the kids, go do this over there. And I just sat down with this young lady, and we just started talking about just dumb stuff, and just seeing God bring peace back into her, and just where then she started picking herself up and she was laughing, and then she got back into the Friday night fun, and just being willing to, like, okay, like, this is not what I expected today,
Yeah.
but all right, God, what are you gonna do? And I think you guys have already experienced some of that.
A little bit.
I mean, yeah, the surprises of youth ministry are many.
Yeah.
There,
Oh well, yeah,
the
that.
just the having to bend on the fly, and then
Oh yeah.
having to be like, "Hey Sam, I need you to I'm gonna just need you to stand in the room and cover for this one."
Those are fun nights.
Yeah.
Man, those are nights.
What I will say too is that I think the kiddos now, it's not only availability anymore, which is fine, and I'm willing to adapt, but it's also being intentional.
Hmm.
Yeah, I think kids are leaning more towards wanting us to be intentional
Yeah.
with our conversations. And so I'm learning that, and I'm trying to trying to do that as much as I can. But yeah, they do need that in their
Yeah.
lives. So
And, and and that's like, I think those two things go together, because
yeah.
they're also so used to just kind of almost being pushed to the side.
Yeah.
Mm.
Because in society, like, we're like, okay, well, you don't really start to matter till you're 18,
Yeah.
till you hit adulthood, and then you hit the real world, and then you're an adult, so now I'm gonna listen to your opinion a little bit more and all this.
Exactly.
And you hear parents, and I'm sure I've done it too, like, where kids come and they're like, hey, I'm struggling with this or whatever. Oh, just wait till you have real problem. And so,
Wait till you have to pay taxes.
yeah, and it's this idea like, oh, this is nothing, like,
Yeah,
just
yeah.
wait. But what we forget is those moments are so real.
Yeah.
It's real for them.
Yeah. And if we don't teach them how to deal with those moments, if we don't take the time to acknowledge that, hey, this is a big moment in your life, this friendship breaking up, or this guy or this girl
Yes.
that broke your heart, yeah, maybe it was never going to be your husband or your wife. And maybe we know that. We can look at that and be like, hey, this is ridiculous. You're 12, like, go clean
Yeah.
your room.
How could that 13-year-old boy have not been loyal to you?
Yeah, right? Like, we're looking at that, and they're used to hearing that. But it's these moments where they're learning how to deal with heartbreak. They're
Yeah.
learning how to deal with friendships. And those are things that we deal with as adults.
Yeah.
And if we don't take the time to teach them biblically and spiritually how to deal with those things here, then that door shuts.
Yeah.
And they go somewhere else, and they're going to go get it from the world. Okay, so, I went to my parents, or I went to whoever at church, and they blew me off. So let me go find help somewhere else. And yeah, so it's got to be intentional. It's got to be available. And we got to acknowledge the fact that the feelings they're feeling are real, and we were
Yeah.
there at one point.
Exactly.
And the reason we're sitting here today is because somebody took the time.
Yeah.
Somebody made us feel the way that God looks at us.
Hmm.
That God's not, when they're praying, he's not like, all right, you little 12-year-old, come to me when, it's April 15th. I'm busy with your parents' tax issues.
Yeah. Yeah.
Like, like, he's like, he cares.
Your parents are praying that the IRS doesn't come knocking at their
Yeah,
door.
right? Like,
I got bigger fish to fry.
I got world peace, like, all
Exactly.
these
Yeah.
things. But they need to understand, cast your cares upon him because he cares about you. And sometimes before they're willing to do that with the Lord, they need to see it with us.
Right.
Hey, how can I trust that God cares about me if the people in my life don't?
Yeah.
And so if they stay it in us, then it's a lot easier then to direct them, like, and see, the way I care about you is just a small like glimpse of how much God loves you. And it opens these doors where these walls come down.
Yeah.
And I was sharing with my brother-in-law recently that even at a retreat like maybe 2 or 3 years ago, I'll always remember these two young ladies because we got to get pizza coming back up the elevator. And as I'm walking in the elevator, one of them stops and goes, "Sam is weird." I was like, "What?" Yeah, right. You're like, hold on, and just don't shut it off.
Yeah.
Tim, don't edit this. But she was like, "It's weird." And I was like, "What's weird?" And she goes, "You are the only man in my life outside of my dad that actually cares about my feelings."
Mm.
And then the other girl looked at me and goes, "Yeah, but it's cool." And like we roll up in the elevator, and I was just like, "Oh, dude, that's heavy,"
Yeah.
because that's a heavy responsibility.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
And that's the cool part of being youth leaders. Like you guys now get to be that. Like you get to it's
Trying.
a heavy response and you're doing an amazing job.
Starts hyperventilating.
Yeah, you're like, I'm out.
Yeah.
Hey, you want back in? You seem like you.
No, I enjoy, coming alongside you guys and helping you sometimes still. And the fact that you still allow me to have a small presence there. Because there are times I do miss those relationships.
Mm.
Because those are special. Like there's
But like only an hour maximum.
yeah, just
there
there's
was a little bit of regret what you said.
yeah,
Just a
yeah.
little bit.
Some.
Yeah, some of those relationships you learn.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You learned something.
Yeah.
In every situation you learn. Sometimes you learn how much you lack in patience.
God uses everything.
Yeah.
He uses everything to bring us up and to make us more like him.
Yeah. I mean, one time my son set off dry ice bombs at the retreat center.
I remember that story. 'Cause
Yeah.
you said it.
It must have been those Sun City kids.
Yeah, no,
There's no way
I
it
was
was ours.
certain because I heard the
Yeah.
booms. I was with the camp director. We were talking about something, talking about life or whatever, having one of the many counseling sessions that I would have when I would go up there where I would be, "Oh, Steve, I'm just horrible." And he's like, "Oh, Sam, we're all horrible." Whatever. Steve's an awesome dude.
Mhm.
And then we're talking, and all of a sudden we hear boom, boom, boom. And I look at him, and at first I'm thinking, that had to have been an activity, right?
Mhm.
Like, no way that could be anything
Steve's
else.
all no.
Yeah, and Steve looks at me and goes, "Wow, it seems like there are some future youth pastors having some fun out there."
Isn't he just the nicest?
Oh, that's nice, Steve.
And then
He always sees them as like, oh yeah, those are future youth leaders,
yeah,
pastors. Yeah,
because he's like, "Oh, that was me back in the day," and I'm like, "Oh, dang." I was crazy, but I never set off bombs.
Right.
And then yeah, we ask our kids like, "Hey, were you a part of this?" No. And then like a couple of weeks later, we come back from retreat and we're at like a family gathering, and my son's like, "Oh yeah, and I was hanging out with these kids, and we found some dry ice and made bombs," and I was like, "That was you." And that was one of those moments like, where I learned mercy and grace and patience all in one moment. Yeah, it was a cram session.
yeah. That kid can just get himself in trouble with no
Yeah.
problem.
Yeah, it's just he just starts talking, and it's like, wait.
Wait a minute.
Yep. Just like me, just like you.
Yeah.
We get in trouble with our mouths more than anything else.
So who knows? Maybe God's gonna get a hold of him, and one day he'll be a youth pastor and be like, "I never would have thought."
Nobody.
Yeah, we will all be standing behind the curtain. None of us did. We all hoped, but none of us thought.
Right.
Oh man. And so then I mean on top of the lessons, right? How, because I mean you did kind of mention earlier like the strain that the constant events and being here with the kids and like even the late night counseling sessions, because I know there was like the 3 a.m.s where my life is falling apart and I need to talk to somebody. How do you balance the home life and the ministry life, because our marriage is our first ministry that God gives us. And so we're not in the same situation that you're in. Like we don't have kids.
Yeah.
Like we don't have our own house yet. we're kind of like in married limbo, is what I like to call it. We're like
It's true.
we're married, but we don't relate to any other married couple
It's
our
true, yeah.
age.
Well, but you guys do have things going on
Oh
because
yeah,
you still have work, you still have, you know, family responsibilities that mirror sometimes those things, even if they're not directly yours. You know
Yeah.
what I'm saying?
yeah,
Because you're helping out a lot with your family and your family, and so you guys are, and even just being young married, ministry puts a strain
Yeah.
because, like we talked about, there's no there's no moment where I'm completely clocked out. There are times where it's like, yeah, unless this is a life or death emergency, I'm not going to deal with this till tomorrow. But there's still that possibility that you might get that, hey, I gotta leave dinner, or I gotta
Mm-hmm.
leave this family birthday party, or whatever, and I
yeah,
just gotta go. And so it takes having a spouse, a wife, in our case, a wife or wives that are supportive. Wives, because we don't have the same wife.
gotcha. It's like
Yes.
Sam, we're on the air.
Multiple.
We're not talking Solomon, okay? I'm just making it clear I do have a wife.
Oh yeah.
And she loves you very
She
much.
does. She's always been very supportive. And I don't think I could have been in youth ministry. Well, I shouldn't even say I don't think. I know I couldn't have been in youth ministry as long as I was without her. Because even though there was a lot of times she wasn't physically present and she wasn't able to be at the events and all those other things, she was doing things behind the scenes with the kids at home, just making sure that all that stuff was taken care of when I had to be here. And that's so important. It's the communication part. And
Yeah,
those were things that I failed at early on.
Mm.
Where when I first got married, I'd already kind of been in ministry for a little bit, and I was used to just, hey, somebody called and I just went. I didn't tell anybody where I was going. I just
You just.
I just left.
Oh man.
And there's at least once where we had a night of worship and a kid called and I just up and left. And I didn't answer my phone or anything because I was like, I'm counseling. And my wife's calling me, my dad's calling me, everybody's calling me. And so finally I just like turned my phone upside down and I was like, I need to focus on this. And like like an hour and a half later, I pick up my phone and I call my wife and she's like, "Where are you?" Because this was before Find My Friends and Life 360 and all that.
yeah.
You couldn't stalk people back then.
Well, you could. It was a lot harder.
Yeah, no, you actually had to physically follow them back then. Like we couldn't do it electronically.
Yeah,
For
yeah.
sure.
And I was like, "Oh, I was counseling. What's?" And she was like, "I thought you were dead in a ditch." And I was like,
Oh my god.
she's
Yeah,
like,
that ditch.
you left church and nobody knew where you were and nobody could get a hold of you and you can't. And I was like, oh yeah, I have a family. I need to let them know. And so there's lessons learned where if I was going to do a late night counseling or something was going, I would send her a text. Hey, I may not be answering my phone because I'm talking to this kid and it's getting real. I'll call you when I'm done. Or I got to go do this. This is who I'm with. I'll call you when I'm done. And I'm not gonna say it was always easy, but God sustained our marriage.
Yeah.
But there were rough times. I remember one time we were on a family vacation in Minnesota, seeing her mom,
Mm. Oh.
and we were gonna be there for 2 weeks, but we had VBS and stuff, and I was doing skits, so I came back a week early to get set up for all that. And while I was gone, while we were apart, she had a miscarriage on her way back.
Yeah.
And that was rough because she's getting pulled off a plane in St. Louis, and I'm sitting here in the sanctuary trying to, be silly with the kids. And like in my heart, I was just mad.
Yeah.
Because I was mad at God. Because I was like, come on, man. Like, I'm here serving you. You couldn't take You had one job.
That's all I asked. I
And
didn't even need these skits to go good.
yeah, I just wanted you to bring my family home, man. And so there were definitely challenges. But even in that, God showed us He had His hand on us, and He brought us through those moments also. But it is hard, and it's just, again, you guys communicating. The cool thing is that you guys are both like so committed to the youth that right now it's like it's an extension sometimes of your marriage because it's just here.
Yeah.
But you also have to take the time to get away,
Mhm.
have the date nights.
Yes.
Um,
Not talking about ministry.
not talk, yeah, and that's the hard part, right?
Dude, our date nights are not date nights. We're
Yeah.
just working at another location.
Right? Like it's so hard because these kids become such a big part of your life that you go and you're like, okay, let's just have some me time, and then you're like talking, and then oh yeah, and then I was talking to this kid or
Yes.
whatever, and oh yeah, like this kid did this, and oh yeah, that was and they just become a part of your life. And
Yeah.
so sometimes it's just even understanding that part of the date nights, part of the decompression is sharing those stories together.
Yeah, for sure.
That's still a date night, but these kids just they become your kids.
Yeah.
Dude, when we were at Lone Tree, when we went just to stay just the two of us,
Uh-huh.
when was it? November, right?
Mhm.
We're like in the room, right? We're just resting. I think we had breakfast and then we were deciding what we were gonna do. And then I was like, oh, don't we need to rent a van like for the youth retreat? And we were like,
Not
oh
even-
yeah, we
Not
do.
even the mission trip. It was the
Yeah.
youth retreat that
Yeah.
was in July.
Yeah, this past November, we were like, oh, we should look at van rentals.
We got
Like,
it.
and dude, we got one on a sick rate. We got one like super cheap.
It was a blessing in disguise.
Yeah, it was.
We were like, yeah, and then now you're saying that I'm like, oh yeah, no, we didn't. We were just working.
Yeah.
No, I mean, so what I will say is that it's definitely been like Josh and I doing ministry together.
Yeah.
It's been like that throughout our whole relationship. There
Yeah,
has
that's
not been not that there hasn't been a break, but that's just kind of like our shared activity
Mhm.
that we like to do
Yeah.
as a couple that
Yeah.
that we tried a lot of things. We tried like painting and
Aren't you guys gonna
puzzles.
pick up hiking?
Yes, I want to do hiking.
Yeah,
but
yeah.
he does not want to do hiking.
We're definitely.
Yeah, right after this, right?
Yeah.
Right? Yeah. No, I went to the gym today.
Oh, that's
There's
right.
no
Yeah.
way. There's no way. But yeah, that was just one of the things that we've just always done together, and it's
I mean, that was
been
part
a
of the
blessing.
reason we got married when we did because we were planning VBS, and then it'd be like, 11
Yeah.
o'clock, and it was like, oh, we probably shouldn't be out together this late. We should
Mhm.
probably go back to our houses, right? And so then I'd take her home, and then I'd come home, and then we would just be on the phone trying to plan a VBS.
Yeah.
As fiance.
As fiance, yeah, and it was like, well, what if we just finish that marriage counseling with Tom and just get married before VBS? We can do this already.
Well, I mean, how long was your engagement?
4 years.
Yeah.
That's a lot of premarital.
Yeah.
Well,
It's a lot of
You guys could be teaching the marriage ministry.
don't put that on us, Sam.
I rebuke you.
You're putting things on us
I
that we
rebuke
didn't.
thee.
I mean, you did premarital longer than anybody else.
Imagine
You could write the
if-
book.
No,
if it
that's
took
not
someone
true.
4 years to do the premarital counseling book we have at this church, that would be insane.
It would either
I think we did it in like 2 months.
Yeah.
3
No,
months.
it was a lot longer than that.
Was it longer?
You can go through it, but there are some, and that'll be its whole different podcast. Because there are some that get very intense and
Wow.
probably take at least a week.
Mhm.
But yeah, that's the cool thing about you guys is that you are able to do it together,
Mm.
and that's the beauty of this period of time in your marriage.
Yeah.
Because you guys can, and down the road that may not necessarily be the case, but this is a great foundation. This is a
Yes.
great beginning to it, and then it helps to so that you understand, so that like maybe if there comes a time where you're not able to be as involved.
Are you trying to hint at?
I'm just saying in life,
Oh, okay.
like if
Just in general.
just in general,
I thought
like
you were hinting at the event that we're.
yeah.
that Josh is doing.
Oh yeah, that one too. But so that if you're not able to physically be there as much,
Mm-hmm.
you understand why it is that he's there.
Yeah.
And why it's taking so long. It's not a mystery. And so that takes some of the strain out of it too.
Oh yeah.
Everything I do is a mystery and a challenge somehow.
Well, yeah, because you just found out the confusion is part of your life.
Oh my gosh.
listen
that
here.
Was the funniest.
Now listen here. If fatty liver disease causes brain confusion, I could be a doctor. I could write that diagnosis. I could say that Whataburger causes euphoria
Well,
and prescribe you something for it, apparently.
It's like
if that was the
Whataburger?
main criteria for diagnosing it, then I mean, the world is walking around with fatty liver.
It's true.
Like
Yeah.
yeah, it's
So.
everybody's confused.
Mm-hmm.
Man, I gotta stop talking to that doctor. That guy's gonna kill me faster than anything else.
That's funny.
Yeah, it's good times though.
Yeah.
Good stories that
Yeah,
come out of
yeah.
it.
Yeah.
It was.
Good story.
Maybe not for you.
No.
Especially especially because I tried not to. As a loving wife, devoted
Oh yeah.
spouse, I
Yeah,
tried
yeah.
so hard not to laugh, but I just couldn't help it. It was
Well, I
How
would
can you
imagine-
lie? How can you lie in a church?
comedic.
I would imagine that it was probably even because you read it and you're confused reading it.
That's
so it's
exactly
like,
what it was.
you
That's
know, like-
exactly what it was. I wasn't laughing at him. It was just that particular moment where
it's
I
like
was
you're
like,
confirming the diagnosis as you read it. Confusion.
yeah, exactly. It could have been anything. It could have been like, I don't know.
It's because that's the
The
dumbest
flu.
thing.
It could
Yeah.
have been the flu, and if it said confusion and he was confused, I would have started laughing.
Yeah, that was
So.
terrible.
But that's the other part of ministry too, is that you have to have a sense of humor.
Have to.
Because the things
Wow.
that come across the desk,
Mm-hmm.
if you're not laughing, you're crying. It's just sometimes that's all you can do is like you look at it and you laugh and you okay,
Yes.
all right, well,
Our
that
obstacle
happened.
for the day.
yeah.
So it's usually I'm crying, he's laughing, but it'll switch sometimes.
Yeah.
It's very nice.
Well,
We balance each other
It's
out.
balanced.
Yeah.
Yeah, there has to be a balance.
Which is
Oh.
good because apparently I listened to my daughter's podcast before I did this one.
Mm-hmm.
She didn't find out that I was a human being until a couple of years ago when she saw me cry for the first time.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
Which goes back to the fact that I'm dead inside.
Oh my god.
Well, it it's okay to be a robot. We're coming on to the AI age.
Yeah.
and-
Uh,
Don't no.
nope.
No, that's how you know we got him right there. He's mad at AI.
I don't. I was talking to Layla in my office yesterday about something, and I had my laptop open, and I guess I was talking loudly, and it gave me the prompt. Like all of a sudden, Siri starts talking to me, and she's like, "Chat GPT can help you answer this." I was like, "No, you stop it right now!" And I shut my laptop. I was like, "You've got to be kidding me!"
Get that knife you got in your office. just,
Yeah.
Stop it. Stop it.
I will say I did the same thing with our van, because it has Apple CarPlay, and I guess Siri heard me, and I was like, "No, stop it, stop it!" And
Yeah.
then Tabitha was like, "You talk to me like a child." I was like, "I do."
I don't know what you're supposed to do.
But yeah, that was funny.
But things like that were also signs that it was time for me to step out. Is I was like, I'm fighting with technology.
Hmm.
The kids' lingo is starting to just burn me up.
Problematic.
Yeah. I think before somebody goes through a wall,
Right,
it's
right, right.
time to see it. And that
Or a
was difficult.
cabinet.
Or a cabinet. But
No,
that
I'm
was
just
too
kidding.
late.
Too late. Yeah.
But that was difficult because you develop those relationships,
Mhm.
and even though you're just walking down the hall, it's not the same.
No.
And so that was it was hard, but you learn that's where faith comes in, and one day God may call you guys to do something else,
Yeah.
and that's the other part of ministry that we don't talk about a lot is And when it's time to take a step out and leave where you're comfortable, man, it's hard.
Yeah.
Definitely. Yeah, as of right now, I mean, we
Yeah,
are
and
we are.
you're
We're at the
you're
beginning.
you're not going
Yeah.
anywhere for a while.
No. For
Although
sure.
No, yeah, don't. You're gonna give kids heart attacks.
no,
You're
imagine.
gonna be flooded with comments just about that.
Yeah, yeah. Well, so, alrighty. Well,
Well,
do
I
you have
think
any more questions?
no, I think we've done pretty good here. I
I think
think
we've
we
been
could
talking for a long time.
we could I mean honestly, we could go on forever and ever because that's just
It's
what
true.
we do when we get together, whether we're on mic or not.
Yeah,
We're just we
Yeah,
can just
I
go
will let
for
the audience know
Dang.
we've been talking for 2 hours before
Yeah,
this.
yeah. Poor Tim.
I know.
yeah.
I actually think he's asleep up there.
He might be.
He could be.
No, he's right there. But
Yes.
Yes. See, and people are coming through now and like,
yeah, I think,
haven't you
Are
stopped
you
yet?
guys still going?
but
But yeah, I think we'll have to call it there. It's been amazing to just sit and eat and talk like we always do, but now we get to pull the curtain back.
we have
and-
record of
Yeah,
it.
yeah. Now it's forever.
yeah, this one's on the internet.
Oh my gosh. And
But-
thank you for letting us borrow Layla for her
Oh.
podcast. It was incredible.
No, I appreciate it.
And
I appreciate what you guys are doing, and we're
Thanks.
praying for you guys, and we're excited. You know, even just this podcast, it's neat to see what God's doing in and through you guys.
Yeah. So,
Yeah.
all right. Well,
Well, this has been another episode of the Broken Together podcast. We will see you guys next time.
bye. Say bye.
Bye.
Yeah.